Well, it's almost time for school. Are you going to send your kids back to school? Well, we're going to talk about it when we get back. I'm CLM II for Style with Power, the channel that helps empower men through style. Okay. Happy Monday, and we hope you had a great weekend. I know we had the storm here on the East Coast, and a lot of us lost power. Matter of fact, there's still people out there that still don't have power. And I know I lost power for about 4 hours. Luckily, I had a generator so that the food would not spoil inside the refrigerator. So I hope all of you out there are doing well. So listen, before we get started, if you're into videos that talks about style, that talks about fashion, that talks about empowerment, and that talks about mindset, well, this is the channel for you. So don't forget, hit that subscribe button and hit the little notification bell so you'll know every time we upload a video. Well, it's almost time for school, and as many of you out there who watch my videos know, I've been in higher education for over 20 years, and I'm in the New York City tri-state area, and Governor Cuomo from New York State just announced that he is going to allow schools to open up in the fall.
Tonight, New York schools officially have the green light to reopen classrooms, including the country's largest district, New York City.
If anybody can open schools, we can open schools. And that's true for every region in the state, period.
New York remains the state hit hardest by the virus, with more than 30,000 deaths. At its peak, there were 1,000 deaths reported a day. On Thursday, there were just 5. And today, the infection rate statewide is less than 1%, well below the 5% threshold set by health officials for in-person classes.
I want them back full-time in person, and also as a teacher, my students, I want them 5 days a week in person with me.
Shauna Chuda is the mother of 3 boys and a kindergarten teacher in rural New York.
We tried to Zoom with the kiddos, but it was really difficult. A lot did not have access to devices. A lot did not have home support.
But every district has to submit plans to make sure the return to school is done safely. Not all of them have. A New York City teachers union says safety is still an open question.
Our biggest concerns are that we have the social distancing in place. That is important. We know when you go into a supermarket, you have to be 6 feet from the next person. We want that in the schools.
Fueling the concern are cases of COVID popping up in schools that have already reopened around the country. In a search of local news reports, NBC News found over 60 cases of students and staff testing positive in Tennessee, Georgia, Indiana, and Mississippi. On Thursday, a Minnesota teacher holding her son confronted the governor, visibly shaken.
I was going to have to watch him.
Yeah, no, we can't.
I'm not going to be scared.
Governor Tim Walz responding.
One thing I can assure you is the state's responsibility, Department of Health and MPA, to monitor all of the plans for each district.
And Steph, I know a lot of school districts in New York still have some work to do here.
Yeah, that's right. Governor Cuomo says more than 100 districts have not submitted their plans to the Department of Health. He wants them to post those plans online and hold meetings with parents to explain them.
Now, in the New York City area, we start school in September. Right after Labor Day, school will begin. The college kids, which I work in higher education, they start school at the end of August. So the last week in August is when colleges start here in New York City. And I already know that around the country, other schools have opened up, and there's been some issues. There's really been some issues. One of the big issues is that schools are opening up in Georgia. Now, as we all know, Georgia right now is one of the leading states with coronavirus. And I have a link to an article in the description about 250 employees within the Georgia state school system caught the coronavirus. And that's just the tipping point. So what did Georgia do? Georgia has pulled back, and they have decided to do schooling completely online for this, at least for the fall semester. And you know, everybody has to think about that. And here in the New York City area, our coronavirus is right now the lowest in the country. We're doing fantastic. Governor Cuomo, who looks like he's a presidential candidate, has did a fantastic job. Governor Murphy in New Jersey has done a fantastic job. Governor Ned Lamont in Connecticut have done a fantastic job. All three have done fantastic job. We were the top when it comes to coronaviruses around the nation, and now we are the lowest. So those three gentlemen, kudos to you. You guys have done a fantastic job. Now, school openings is a different story. It's so much that have to go into the thinking of what you're going to do. How are you going to be able to have a whole bunch of students in one place and keep them safe? How are you going to be able to keep the employees safe? How are you going to do this? You have to work it out. Now, I know a lot of the school districts have sent in a plan. This is how they're going to do it, and this is how it should work. And I want to say to all of them out there, thank you for the hard work. I know I work in the City University of New York, and right now the plan is to do 20% classes on campus, 80% online, 20/80, which sounds great. Staff members, if you are a professor and you're teaching a class, you may have to go in. A lot of the administration and the staffs will not be attending, so I guess it'll be about the same when it comes down to staff, 20/80 right now, until they can figure out a great plan on being able to get us all back on campus. So I just want to say to the parents out there who have children, and I know that you have to work, I want you to think carefully. Make sure that whatever plan is in place, it meets to your standards. Doesn't have to meet to the standards of everybody else. It should meet to your standards, because that's your child, and you have to make sure that your child is safe. Those employees, you got to make sure that the plan meets to your standards, because you don't want to work in an environment where you may be able to catch the virus and then you get sick. And as we know now, over 150,000 people have died of coronavirus. So this virus is no joke. This is not a hoax. This is real. I know people who have died from it. I have friends and colleagues and family members who know people who have died from it. My family has been blessed where we haven't had any problems so far. We want to keep it that way. So we don't want to risk our lives by going to a job that doesn't have a solid plan on how we all going to stay safe. So, like I said, I put a link to an article about the Georgia school system in the description. Go down and read the story, and you make sure that you make a very, very informed decision about you and your children. Always remember, whatever decision you make for yourself is the right decision for you. So the last thing that I want to talk about, and this is a very short show as you can see, but the last thing that I want to talk about is the upcoming election. The election will take place in November, even though our president wants to do whatever he can to delay the election. We, and I say we, I'm talking about this country, has gone through many, many disasters throughout the years, and the election has never ever been postponed or delayed. And this coronavirus, this pandemic, won't do it now. Continue to go out there to the polls. Make sure that you register to vote, and make sure that you let all your people know that voting is very, very important. Now, the big issue is, who will Joe Biden pick as his VP running mate? And right now, the top candidates are black women. As we know and as we can see from all the protests out there, once again, the black female has stepped up to the plate. I mean, I have to give it to you females out there. Kudos to you. I back you in whatever you want to do because I know how strong you are. I was raised by a single black female in my household, and I have many colleagues who have been raised by single black females, and I gotta give it to them. They are some strong individuals. And the candidates who Joe Biden has on his short list are strong individuals. But of course, they are being attacked. So I have an article in the description, have a link to an article in the description about the 6 black females that's on his list. All of them are highly qualified, but of course they're being attacked in the newspapers, being attacked on social media, and we as black men and other black women must stand up for them and protect them because they are being attacked for no reason, only because they are black. And let me tell you something. I know black women are the strongest and the smartest species on this planet. And if Joe Biden can find him a great VP candidate, he should definitely think hard about having a black woman, because a black woman will do great work. So please go down to the description, click on the link, read the article about these 6 black women who are on Joe Biden's list. Read about how they're being attacked in the media, on social media, how they're being called names, and it's just ridiculous on radio and on television. And we must stand up for them and make sure that we take care and we protect them. So that's our stories for this week. And guess what? I will see you next week.